Kingston. Lindsay Walker, live here at CFRC in Kingston, Ontario, 101.9 FM. Lindsay, you sound fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
You're great. So,
Shucks.
can we talk a little bit about what got you into music, influences, why you studied what you did?
Totally, yeah. Well, so growing up, I was always like a weirdo. So I always did weird stuff, and so that's why I went into theater. And not that my shows are very theatrical, but I do have a lot of when I put on a show, I obviously play music, but then I also tell kind of somewhat entertaining stories or jokes or whatever, and often people say that I should be a stand-up comedian, which I think is a compliment, but also just the scariest and strangest compliment in the world. But I always kind of wrote music, and I always sang, and my mom was a piano teacher, so I learned piano at a very young age, and then I just felt it wasn't cool enough, so I stopped playing it, and then started playing guitar, but just never really growing up in Winnipeg, I never really actively played shows or anything like that. I just kind of stayed home and just whittled away at it. And then I moved to Edmonton, and I went to school at Grant MacEwan University for their vocal jazz program, because I just really wanted to study voice in a proper, technically proper way, but I didn't really want to do classical music because, again, didn't think it was rock and roll enough. So I did that. And then while I was in Edmonton, in the beginning, I played a lot of... I was in a band that did classic rock covers, and
no. There's one of those.
Yeah.
They're great. I don't want to rag on them.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just it's not in my mind, I always feel like I am a classic rock kind of person at heart, but my music doesn't necessarily always reflect that. But I was playing a lot of shows around bars and that kind of stuff, and then I started a very folk bluegrass kind of duo with a good friend of mine and just an amazing guitar player. But then we had been playing, and he didn't really want to pursue touring, and I love touring. I love seeing this beautiful country and just traveling around. But then I also felt even though I was writing the lyrics to the songs in this duo, it didn't necessarily represent the stories I wanted to tell, because I was a part of a larger group and I wanted the songs I wanted to write with that group, I wanted to be representative of that,
Yep.
So I started writing my own stuff, and then just gathering up the courage to play and sing my own songs without any type of safety net, and then I released my first album in 2013 and did some smaller, Western Canadian tours. And then I've just been slowly coming out further and further east and trying to make this more of a normal thing. Although this country is massive.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's just oh my goodness. Driving across Northern Ontario, I feel everyone has to do it to get they should do it to get their passport or something, it should be a rite of passage as a Canadian, because it's gorgeous and amazing, but also just a very long and daunting.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, would you be so kind as to play another song?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Let me just tune my guitar. The coming from a different kind of temperate region, if I can be so dorky to say that term, my guitar is really kind of picky with how it stays in tune, so I'm finding I have to kind of play around with it a lot.
Well, just to be clear to everybody, if you just tuned in, this is Lindsay Walker of Edmonton, Alberta, born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, here live in studio on CFRC 101.9 FM.
Here we go. So this one's called Falling Tree. So been going on inside my head when only two can play. I know I'm winning every losing place. So shame on me, shame on me for letting you get the best of me. If only I could see, if I could see. Oh, I know that I would be set free, but what I wouldn't do just to spend one more night with you, and what I wouldn't see. Others, lovers, or leaves on your fallen tree. Oh, your fallen tree. Oh, I'm leaving town again. Ooh, just to get out of my own head. I see that you found someone new. Oh, you're gonna do whatever you choose, but what I wouldn't do just to spend one more night with you, and what I wouldn't see. All those lovers and leaves on your fallen tree. Oh, your fallen tree. What I would not do just to spend one more night with you, and what I wouldn't see. All those lovers or leaves on your fallen tree. Oh, your fallen tree. On your fallen tree. On your on your fallen tree. Now you're gonna do whatever you choose.
And there you have Lindsay Walker on 101.9 FM, CFRC in Kingston. Lindsay, maybe before we chat a little bit more and you play another one, I could play one of your songs here.
Sure, absolutely.
I have Try queued up. I know it's from the previous album, but is that all right if I go ahead and play it?
Most definitely. I haven't heard the song in so long.
All right, here it is, Try by Lindsay Walker.